and then, of course, translate responses and also voice input and audio playback. So there's quite a number of elements that we're looking at under prompt engineering. But then we're also going to delve into using AI for teaching and learning, right? Because that's really what the theme of today's workshop has been about, is really looking at AI tools, the classroom strategies, the lesson planning, the assessment strategies, and any other additional AI resources that you can actually get. So thanks, Richard. I see he's already posted in the chat. So even if you have one device, guys, and you can't do two things at the same time, it's not a problem. Just make sure you've got the information that's currently in the chat or what I'm sharing on my screen at the minute. So you'll see there's the bit.ly that'll take you directly to the course. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes how to log in. So don't worry. But please make sure that you've got this information. That's kind of the most important thing from me and Richard. Because once you've got this, you can always go through the course. Remember, it's free. And then you'll be able to not miss anything that we've shared with you guys as well. Right, so let's quickly have a look. So yes, creating a free account is going to be the first thing we're going to do. So let me show you how to get to the course and just a quick overview of the course itself. We're going to show you how to get started, why it's important, what you need to have in place, which is critical. Then unit 1 and 2, which I'm just vaguely or briefly going to go through them, as generative AI in education and responsible AI use, because that always comes up. And then Richard's going to delve into prompt engineering, which is unit 3 and 4, which is then AI teaching and learning. And then we're going to wrap up for the session. So luckily for us, the lunch isn't waiting for us. We probably still have to go make it. So let me go and show you guys how this is actually going to work. So as we shared the link with you, you're going to end up with our MOOC page. So please note, this is not the usual add-on one that you might have seen last year. This is the MOOC space. That's also part of our project space. So it's mooc.unisa.ac.za. So if you've never used this one before, then you are going to create yourself an account. So how it works is, let me just get my my keyboard is now different to the previous one. I just need to figure out my keys quickly. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So, whoa, it's too big now. Okay, I made it a little bit too big. Okay, I see the Zoom is playing games with me over here. All right, so in the top right-hand corner, you will see login. So when you get to mooc.unisa.ac.za, it'll look something like this. You'll see the boot campus here, and it's very limited what you can see because you actually need to log in first before you can access any of the courses. So you're going to click on login. And then it's going to ask you, are you a UNISA student or staff member? So there's a question there. So you can simply just say no. The reason being is if you're not a student or a current student or a staff member, then you could log in with your UNISA details, the ones that is provided by the university. Okay. But if you're not, that's great. Then you're just going to say no. And then you're going to be able to create yourself an account. Okay. So just nice and easy. You're going to be able to create yourself an account. You're going to click on it. You're going to fill in a student number or email address. In your case, you can use your email address, or you can make up a username if you want. And then you'll fill in all your details, and then you'll click on create an account. And just like that, you will have access. Once you've created your account, please then go to the email address that you've used and just check that there's an activation email that you need to click just to verify the email address is yours, that you've got access to the email address, that type of usual thing that you would get on any website, really, just to verify. So once you click on verify, then the system will log you in. Okay. So that's quite important to remember. So just remember, guys, you're going to click on login, but when it asks you the question, you simply say no, because you're not a staff member or student of UNISA, then you can go create yourself an account. Okay. So nice and easy. So once you're in, so in my case, I'm just going to say yes, because I'm a staff member. It's going to quickly just log me in. I wonder if it's going to want my PIN code. Let's quickly check. It's going to want my password and PIN, so let me quickly type that in. That's the one thing of Microsoft. So now I need to quickly check the authentication app. Okay. Just implemented this, so it's quite new. So let me quickly check. So guys, why do we have MFA? It's really to protect ourselves. So just like the bank, we've got systems now that prevent people from accessing your information by confirming it is you. So that's why the university has this in place as well, because we do understand students are actually, well, universities are soft targets and people like to target and try and steal student data and things like that. So it's a very real thing, a threat in our world. Okay, so there I've logged in. So what will happen is you'll see your calendar, which is not much of a help for us. So what you're going to do then is you'll click on the home button. So even with you guys, when you've logged in, you'll click on the home button, and then it's going to bring you to the welcome page. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see there's a whole bunch of information, different courses, but there is the Future Minds Bootcamp that Prof. Mahana was speaking about, where you can access the grades and for the classes that you might be involved in, if you want to see what's on there. But for today, we're going to scroll a little bit further down, and you'll see it's the very top course right on top. So Richard must actually show me how did he get his course to be right on top. That was quite a nice trick, because normally you have to scroll down and down and down. But there we go. So it's the very first one that you see, Introduction to Generative AI for Academics and Teachers. So all then you're going to do is you're going to click on it. It's going to pop up a little quick self-enroll button, which you simply just click on, and then you'll be right here. All right, so there's no cost involved whatsoever, guys. This is 100% free, and this will take us to the course. Okay, so it's nice and easy. Right, so very importantly, as you can see, they've got the welcome page, so please do work through it, read through it. We'll just give you a nice foundation where we're speaking about artificial intelligence and specifically generative AI and large language models, because this is the terms that you're going to hear a lot, right? So once you understand these really basic terms, then it just helps you build up a better idea of exactly what is AI and how does it actually work. So it's quite important. So yes, so this is where we're going to delve in. This course, guys, is very much practical. We're making it nice and simple, mostly with tools that are 100% free. But please do check the copyright of some of the AI tools that we do provide. In other words, what you're allowed to do and what you're allowed to do with the content that you generate. So that small writing, you must kind of always read it, because especially when it comes to money, then they definitely want to have their slice of the pudding, right? So just take care of that type of information. So once you've read the first page, it just gives you a nice little overview of the course itself. There's a beautiful little button. You go click on it, and then it'll take you to the next section of the course. All right, so as I said, guys, this course is really broken down into 4 sections that you really want you to get started in. We're going to introduce you to our AI chatbot that Richard has created called Lawazi. So we're going to actually show you how that works. And you've got an action activity that you're going to do with it, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Then we delve into what is generative AI, and that's Unit 1. And we actually give you lots of practical examples as well. So you'll see in the course, we've got activities. So please do those activities, but also put some information back in. In other words, really, it does help us a lot when you guys give us that detailed feedback about the experience or the activity itself, because then we go back and we actually use AI to see what trends are students or colleagues saying that they need or what they're finding useful, because that helps us develop the next iteration of the course. All right, so then we have a look at Unit 2, which is basically the responsible consideration. So obviously with AI, yes, it can help us in many, many aspects, but we also still need to proofread and understand what information is it generating and what potential negative or positive connotations can come from that information. So that's critical as well. So you don't just post things because AI is giving it to you. You actually do need to do a little bit of homework to understand it. Then Unit 3, we're going to look at responsible considerations. Okay, so specifically for academic purposes. And then Unit 4, we're going to look at prompt engineering. And then, of course, the last section is the teaching and learning element. And then, of course, we do give you some resources as well that you can go further, learn, and explore as well. So the learning outcomes for this course, guys, is basically 7 of them. They're listed on the screen. I'm not going to read through them, but it really is to get you into the AI world, start understanding it, accessing the tools, doing some practical things, seeing what it does and what it can give to you. Ideally, this course that we're looking at should take you about 8 hours. So obviously, there's no ways on planet Earth we're going to be able to do this in an hour. But generally, if you've got the time, as Richard said, about 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours should be able, more than enough time to fully cover the course and to do all the activities. The nice thing with this course is it is a high-flex model, which means we can do it online, we can do it hybrid, or we can do it face-to-face. So with UNISA students, as we know, they're all over the country, all over the world, actually. But for us, it's all over the country. So when Richard and the team, we travel to all sorts of places around the country, we actually do this training on face-to-face basis so that students can actually get to see us and we can get to see them. But there are some requirements for this course, which is also very important. Your device needs to have internet. Okay, so it's definitely, unfortunately, that's the way the world is now. Everything's internet enabled, from your fridge to your vacuum cleaner to God knows what, but everything really is connected to the internet. So for this course, it's online. You kind of need the internet. However, we have produced a hardcover book, okay, that we've actually generated. It looks beautiful. So we can actually hand out hard copy books as well for this very same course. But of course, if you want to get that experience, you will need the internet. Ideally, we use Microsoft Edge web browser just because the Copilot and Immersive Reader, the same one that Vivian was referring to, it's kind of all Microsoft products and it's all built into their platforms. So that's why we do say you need the Edge browser even on your mobile device. Please access the discussion forums. And as I said, that information is gold dust to us because it also shows that you understand what you're learning and you can also share with the fellow participants. And also do keep comments to their posts as well. Just if you agree or disagree. It's okay to disagree as well, guys, but just obviously stick in the rules of being polite. And then, of course, Microsoft and Google accounts. Yes, we still use Google. For example, Gemini is working with Gmail. It's part of the Google products. So yes, you would still need a Google account as well. So we're not just only Microsoft. Okay, so that's quite important. So you need to have all this in place. So if you would love to do this with your students, then basically this is the same things that you would need to have maybe in your computer lab on the school campus. If you're lucky enough to have one of those, that would be awesome. You could actually do the training on this. Then the icebreaker itself. So that's why we're saying to you guys, please do all the activities, but please give us some detailed feedback because it really does help everyone, including us, the developers. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is Lawazi. So Lawazi is our humanoid robot that we've got. It's actually sitting at the Milkneck campus. I don't know if they took him out today, Richard. I don't remember if they did because I know he's very heavy. But she is, it's not polite to say she's heavy, but that's why I said a he. So today is a he. He's quite heavy, so I don't know if they did manage to take him out. But yes, so when we go around the country, we do sometimes take Lawazi with us. And of course, the school that's in the competition for the most attendees, I think there is a competition for that. I would actually be bringing Lawazi to that school that ones. So the whole objective here, guys, is to use an AI chatbot. Okay, so the very first instruction is chat with Lawazi. So we want you guys to do something very simple over here. If you only got one screen, then for now, just watch what I'm doing. And then after, when you've got time and you've got your device, then you can actually come and do this. I do see some colleagues have already done it, so it's quite interesting. Oh, I'm saying, dear David. Oh, hi, Lawazi. I'm talking to myself. So we want your name, where you're from. Okay. Oh, gosh, it doesn't do autocorrect. That's terrible. I'm used to autocorrect correcting all my spelling. What am I excited to learn about AI? Learning how AI could answer all my emails. Yes, that would be awesome. Okay, so you can type something back. So we've given you a little bit of something that you need to do. And we're just going to check what is Lawazi going to respond. Okay, so this is our AI chatbot, and Richard probably could explain a little bit more how we built the little guy in terms of how does it function and how it actually is generating this data for us. So it's very cleverly done. And there we go. Hello, it's wonderful to hear from you. And it's Polokwane apparently is a vibrant place. I didn't know that. And then it goes and it gives some information, right? So that's what we want from you guys. So you get this information, you just select it all, triple clicking, copy it, and then we want to actually you guys to share your responses. So in the forum below, we're going to paste this answer that we've got, that we received from Lawazi. Okay, or you can upload a screenshot if you want, totally up to you. And then the third thing we would like you to do is at least respond to 2 of the other colleagues who have posted something there, just to say hi, where you're from. You might find you very close to each other and you wouldn't even know it. So have a look at the reflection and the takeaway, because that's really what we wanted you to do. Have a look at the response of Lawazi. Does it fit into what you were thinking or saying? And then, of course, just post it there. So there you go. So all you're going to do is, in the very first reply that you would see, which would be this one, where the question is, just click on reply, you copy and paste it in, and then you can post to forum. So yes, I did do this a bit earlier, and I see it gave a different answer. Notice that, because I actually gave a different answer to the question, what did I want to learn from this course? So you can actually see it generated a completely different answer from the first time I did it a few minutes ago. So I do see some answers here. So Cornelia, if you're on board, I want to see what Lawazi was saying to you. Okay, we just enabled it this morning. And Tokozo, you as well. So hopefully these 2 colleagues would come back and do it again, because we just enabled the Wazi this morning just to see that it's functioning and that we guys could actually use it today. So please do this exercise when you get a chance. It's really fun, easy way to actually use AI, and it's from our very own UNISA Build 1. Then the next thing is the pre-assessment course. Now this is also very important to us. Because this is before you do the course. We would like to know where you're at. All right. How's your understanding? And there are no wrong answers in this. Okay. So it's just some multiple choice questions that you can actually go answer, whatever it may be. And then you please complete the pre-assessment. Because at the end of the course, you will find there's a post-assessment where you actually give us feedback. There it is. How exactly did the course go? What have you learned from the beginning until now? And that helps us gauge your guys' development and understanding of AI itself. So that's really the nuts and bolts of the introduction, how to get going. And then, of course, you're going to be able to move into Unit 1. All right. And you'll just simply go click on it, or your menu. You'll see there's a little menu here. You can also just use it, switch it on and off. And then we get into AI. Now, this is very basic stuff. We've got learning outcomes for each unit. As I said, guys, this is what we had last year. So if you did join us, it's a repeat. If you're new to this, again, just go through this. The key questions, what is it? How does it work? And then you'll see the concepts that we give you as well. So please, you'll see them listed here. But if you click on them, you'll see the information pops up. So this is really, really cool. Very nicely done. And to show you all these type of words that you're going to hear a lot in IT, and especially with AI, you'll hear these things. So at least it gives you a good idea what exactly is again when we're talking about AI. So work through this and explore a bit. All right. We've also got a beautiful history of AI itself. Just to shock you guys, when did AI actually start? It started in the 1950s already. Okay, it's not just all of a sudden now thing. It's just taken a while to get where it is and become public domain. So you can actually go work through this and really get a nice sort of flow of the years and look how quickly now the development happens from 2014 onwards. The things just kept developing very fast. So this is beautifully done, and you can actually go read up a little bit more how AI can actually beat the champions. I think it was chess, the Big Blue, it was its name. The computer system had actually beat the world's best chess player at the time. And it just shows you how technology is now moving quickly along. Please also have a look at these activities. They're very fun to do, like immersive reader, the very same one Vivian was speaking about. You guys can actually go and do the exercise. So you'll see we tell you to do it step by step by step and actually go play around with it. And we show you how to use it. And all the steps are provided for you as well. So please do go have a look. Okay, so again, the guys that did it earlier, we would like a bit more detailed feedback, guys. Easy reading, yes, it is, but just give it a little bit more detail. Have a look at the reflection and the takeaway so you can really understand what's all, or what did you learn from this, and how can your students start using it if they're not already using it. Yes. Then, of course, with generative AI, this is the one where we actually, it creates images, it creates text for you, and we're going to explain how this process works. And then, of course, it also, we show you how you can actually go and do it for yourself, from the text to the images to the music. But as I said, be careful with the element of copyright. So don't just think if you've got something that you're selling, you can use to create music and use that music. There are copyright rules that you guys must be very careful about. Within this program, we show you how to create a song. Yes, you're going to actually go create your song. Guys, this is all freely accessible. Don't need to pay for anything, but you must just please follow our steps that we've provided for you. Create your song and then let us know how the song comes out. Like, okay, these guys again didn't post where, or they didn't share the song. And then, of course, we also do explore with Gemini. So these activities, as Richard said in the beginning, we want you guys, you see where they are, you see how the structure of the course is flowing, but go and do this in your own time. They're very, very simple things to do, but you'll have a lot of fun. With Unit 2, we do look into the responsible use of AI. So this is also very important because, again, the learning outcomes, the key questions, and again, the concepts are available. And why is bias so important? So that's something we need to remember as people living in the African continent, as Africans. The Chinese in Asia, you've got the Europeans and you've got the Americans, right? They're all developing these models. They're feeding it their data, which means if we here in South Africa say something, it's going to use the data of those places, not necessarily ours, to build the knowledge and the questions. That's why it's so key for us to put as much information into these systems as humanly possible so that the systems can understand African context, African traditions, and all our digital knowledge that we actually have in Africa. Maybe the world can learn something from us. Probably they definitely should. And really put our footprint into the world, because otherwise, guys, we're going to be left behind. So this is a very important chapter as well, because it really does delve into how do we use this responsibly, but how do we keep ourselves in the development within the world? So from academic integrity, bias, as I just said, discrimination, the rights of use, dependence on technology, critical thinking, we can't lose that. That's also very important. And then, of course, please go do the activities as well. So yes, so that's really in a nutshell what Unit 1 and 2 were covering. Very elementary, very basic, but critical. So please don't skip these. If you've never done this before, please come back and actually go and work through, is the data accurate? Is it relevant? What are the limitations of AI or the model that you're using? And within the scope, just like the lawyer that used AI and he got found out that the things that it gave him wasn't actually, it was made up. So yes, that's the reality of AI. It can make things up, okay? It hallucinates. So you always got to check the information, and that's really, really important. All right, so this is now where we're going to get into Unit 3. And this is where Richard's going to come in, guys. We're going to do some practical exercises, show you how it's done. But it's very importantly, please don't go skip those first 2 units. As I said, we need about 6 to 8 hours for this entire course. You know where it is. Please check the chat. Work through it. You've got our email address. I'll also post it in the chat if you get stuck anywhere. We've got questions. And definitely it will be worth your while. Richard and myself have both completed the Microsoft exam, the AI 900 exam for AI specifically. So a lot of this, what you're learning here, you could actually have a better understanding and prepare yourself to write such an exam. So it really, really does add value to every phase of your life and your career. So I'm going to hand over now to Richard, who's the expert, and he's then going to show you some fun things in lessons 3 and 4. Over to you, Richard.
Okay, thank you, David. So I'm going to start off with how do you actually prompt an AI system. Now, I'll show you an example later why effective prompting is so important, because these AI models, they can do a lot, but they still have, how can I say, a limited window of the knowledge that we can feed into it. As David mentioned, this is trained with, a lot of information online. It's always, the information is not always up to date, what they're trained on. For instance, the latest models are only trained up to October of last year. So that means they actually don't know anything yet about what happened basically in the last 8 months. And as you know, technology is going progressing so quickly that a lot has actually happened that's very important that it needs to know. So the latest tools do internet searches where it goes and finds some information for you. But still, at the foundation, it's not part of its built-in knowledge. It's everything that's being added to the context every time you prompt it. And how you prompt it directly influences the quality of the results that you get out. So yes, prompting is still a valuable skill. It's, and as I mentioned, it's a skill. It's something that you need to practice. So that's why even on the module site, you'll see we do include a lot of activities where you can learn the skills, and practice it effectively so that you can actually, how can I say, build up a diary of prompts that works, which gives you the best results. So yes, so writing the right prompts is key to unlocking, the full potential of AI. So here we will basically have a look at some prompting techniques that you can use to really optimize it. So by the end of this unit, you will know exactly, understand what is prompt engineering. You'll have a clear understanding how you go about actually prompting the system to get different types of outputs. And we'll also show you some advanced techniques that you can use as well. Now, as always, there are some key concepts. The one is prompt engineering. I don't know if anybody in the audience can tell me what is prompt engineering, what is prompting. I mean, it's a term that really only became very popular after the AI basically became available. But prompting is basically how you ask a question to an AI. It's what you type in. So most of the models that we use are still text-based, where you have to type in the question and you get text back as well. Now, these models can also then sometimes do different things. We add in text and you get an image out. So those are different types of models actually being used. But then we also go, what is context and why is it so important? Now, context, basically the AI doesn't know immediately anything about you. So context builds up with your chat history, but also, it doesn't know, for instance, the school you're at, what is the students you are teaching, the grade, all of that you need to add as context. Or even if you're going to do a subject, what is it that you want to teach the students? What should be the outcome of that? And a lot of times you'll upload additional documents as well to give it that additional context that it needs. Now, we're also going to explore what is role-based prompts. So role-based prompts is when you ask you to take on a certain role. Maybe you'll even ask you to take on the role of a student and do this activity. So you can actually test out your activities. Or you can take it to give it the role of the teacher and then ask it to create a lesson plan for you, for instance. And then we're also going to look at refinement, because a lot of times the first result you get might be very broad. You might want to delve into it a little bit more, get into the real detail of what you are asking, and that is where we talk about refinement. Then the instructional language, that's basically how you ask it the output that you want. So do you want a list? Do you want a summary? All of that, the language that you use directly influences the output you're going to get. And then we're going to look at keywords. So for instance, say you're doing a topic on photosynthesis. Photosynthesis will actually be a very good keyword because it's directly related to life sciences. So it can actually, with its vast knowledge, focus in on that area and give you a lot more accurate information. And I'm just going to look at how to structure prompts as well, some different techniques you can use. Obviously, iterative refinement is how you go over and over, until you get output that's really where the prompt is good enough that you get a good quality output. And then, yes, we'll just explore a little bit, how you can actually ask it to explain things in different learning levels. It works very well in especially learning new topics, but also if you want to have a topic explained to your students, it's very creative in the way that it can explain different concepts in a very easy way. And then we can have a look quickly as well as, uploading documents, for instance, for context, and then also the capabilities of the voice that AI has at the moment. Now, before we continue with this one, I just want to show you a demo quickly. And it will give you a good idea, when we actually talk about the memory and the tools that the AI uses. So this, you can see, is a very simple AI bot. So we've got a chat message. The chat message goes into the AI agent. This AI agent actually uses OpenAI for its chat capabilities. So I'm going to show that just a very simple message. I'm going to say, hello, my name is Richard. I'll post that to the AI bot. You'll see it runs. It's going to query. It's going to come back, and it's going to give me output. Hello, Richard. How can I assist you today? And I'm just going to ask it again, what is my name? So it's going to go back, and it says, doesn't have access to personal information, all of that. So that means every time you actually query these models, it's like a new chat, basically. They don't have the history of what you were chatting about and all of that by default. Now, what we can do is now we can add some memory. So I'm just going to add a simple memory here and go back. Now we can see if this will actually work. Now I just want to see what is the... Okay, save. So I'm going to refresh this. And now I'm going to say, hello, my name is Richard. And you can see it actually used the memory to save the inputs. So now I can ask it, what is my name? Now it tells me your name is Richard, because now it had access to the conversation that we had previously. So when you use these online chatbots and things like that, all of this past chat also becomes part of its context that it saves in its memory. So now you can imagine these bots only has a certain size of content that you can actually provide them before they can't process it anymore. And all of this that you do in the past also builds on top of it. So that's where we talk about the context window. So context window, some of them are quite big at the moment, but it's still about, how can I say 50 pages or that you can feed into it. That's the the amount of text before they actually, you can't add anything more. So you'll realize quite a lot of times you have very long conversations with the AI, then suddenly it starts hallucinating. It's going completely off topic. But the reason for that is as you add more information at the bottom, other information gets lost from the beginning. So that's why we always talk about the context window. why effective prompting is so important, so you can give it the necessary context without overburdening the capabilities of the AI model. So there's quite a few things to consider when you're prompting. Understand the capabilities of the AI. So for instance, what was it actually trained on? What can it actually do? So for instance, the model that you're working with, was it actually trained on educational material that it can actually give you a good response? A good example for this as well is a lot of people uses the WhatsApp meta chats, and you'll notice very quickly the responses aren't that good as, say, you're using Copilot, for instance. And the reason for that is the model is actually very small. So the capabilities of the WhatsApp one is not that great. The knowledge base isn't that big. Whereas the bigger ones that the Copilot and Google Gemini uses is trained on a lot more information. Then also what you want to do is be very specific and clear when you ask it a question. Don't give it unnecessary information. As we talk about the context window, don't want to fill that up. Now, keywords, as we'll see later as well, that's, for instance, using the direct terms, especially, terms that's very specific to the field as well, that you can use to really get better results. And then obviously we want to structure our prompts. Maybe we want to give it like where we ask it, for instance, you want to summarize this, you give it the content, and you also maybe let it know on what type of language you want it back. For instance, maybe it can translate it for you as well. And then, as always, provide the relevant context. If I ask ChatGPT or Copilot just to create a lesson plan for me, it's not going to know for which module, which year, what is the target audience. You need to provide all of that context to it. And then from there is where you start iterating and refining it. The response you get back, you might edit your prompt and start a new chat, or you might ask it to delve into a specific area, expand on it as it goes along. And then obviously use direct commands for actions. So for instance, summarize this, provide the output, really direct commands so it knows exactly what is expected from it. So yes, just some tips as well. Always if you're going to learn this skill, invest in it. Take some time to learn what is the capabilities of the different models. Find a model that works best for you, and then also track, your keywords that you use or your prompts that you use that is really effective. In 6 months' time, you might be wondering, I once got it to give me an output that was so good. Now suddenly it's not working anymore. What was it that I perhaps did it different in the previous one? Now, as mentioned as well, adding documents and images. You can upload all of these documents and images, and it provides the necessary context for it. So we'll do a prompt now where we're actually going to upload a document and then ask it to make us a study plan or a lesson plan on that document. So remember, you can even upload images. It's very good these days in explaining images to you as well. So you can use all of this to provide that extra context that it's required. Now, I'm just quickly going to open up my browser here again. So we're going to work with this one. And the document that I'm going to add, I'll quickly open it up for you, is here, Life Science Study Guide for Grade 12s, actually provided by the Department of Basic Education. So yeah, it's quite a big document, 184 pages. As I mentioned, it will summarize the information in here, but this is quite a lot of information that we want to provide it, so it's part of the context that it knows what, how can I say, to work with. So what I'm going to do is just upload that document. Let me just quickly have a look here. So first, when we're going to prompt it, you obviously want to add the context. So I'm going to, how can I say, ask it to be a teacher for grade 12s. So I'm going to just provide it some context. Let me just quickly have a look here. So I'm going to provide it some context. Say you for Mr. So it's going to be your name. For in this one, we're going to do grade 12. And we're going to say it's a life sciences because that's the example we're going to use. So we just keep saying, so you are Ms. Tandi, a passion grade 12 life sciences teacher based in Soweto, South Africa. She teaches at a public school where the institutional language is English, but most of us students speak Sesotho and Sepedi at home. Ms. Sukuna has over 12 years of experience in teaching and is known for an innovative approach to integrating digital tools in a resource-constrained environment. With a strong commitment to inclusive education, she's always looking for ways to bridge the language gaps and increase student engagement using accessible technology, making her the perfect example. Okay, I could take out this part over here. So this gives a good background for the teacher. Now we want to ask it, we want to create a lesson plan. So we actually added the material. We gave it the context, who the target audience is. And now I'm going to ask it, provide, or let me rather say it directly, using the attached document, provide a lesson plan for, let's say, chapter 1. I'm first going to say only provide the headings for each section of the, can I say, lesson plan. So I'm just going to fix there. So here you can see we gave it now a very direct prompt. You know, you use this document, provide a lesson plan only on chapter 1, and only provide the headings. So we're going to prompt that and see what we get. So here it comes with a lesson plan, heading of chapter 1, topic overview, curriculum links and assessment standards, lesson objectives, background knowledge, all of these various topics. Now I can actually start providing, provide the lesson plan for the chapter 1, the topic overview. Please provide the content for chapter lesson plan, chapter 1, topic overview. Okay, let's see what it will give us. So now I've got this topic overview. I can go through this, see how it actually works it, and then I can go back and I'll do the second one. So you'll see I do it actually in stages because a lot of times you will ask it, just give me a lesson plan, and it will give you a very summarized version of it. And then when you want to start delving into it, that's when the knowledge base basically becomes too big, and that's when you start losing the potential of the quality that it can provide you. So as just also mentioned earlier, remember these models can also use, how can I say, different types of models. So for instance, this one is a text to text, but I can also now ask it, create an image perhaps for this chapter and to generate it, but then it will actually use a different model. So it actually calls another model that takes text and provide an image. So I'm just going to ask it here, please create an image representing the topic. So now it will go off, but it will actually start generating the image for me. So as you can see, there's a few steps. We provided actually a document for context. We explained exactly what is our specific context. We ask it then to give the headings, and then we can delve into the headings for content. And then as always, we can then ask it, to even generate now image for us representing that. So we can actually use these images as well within our classroom for your specific context. Now, what's very nice about this as well, I can very easily ask it to translate, for instance, as well, this, how can I say this, topic overview. So I can even ask it, because we've got now students that's, whose home language is different from the learning language. We can actually ask it, please translate the following to the Sutu. I'll pop it in there and then see what we get. So very easily creates it in different languages as well. Now, the one thing that we mentioned earlier as well, different learning levels. So I can, for instance, ask it to explain to me molecules. So explain molecules like I am a 5-year-old. So very easily we change the role of it. Now it's actually imagining, explaining it to you basically as if you are a 5-year-old. And what's very nice about this, even our students at university use this as well, especially when there's new topics, you actually give it a very visual, how can I say, representation. Then you ask it to explain now, for instance, like you're a high school student, and then later on at university level. And that's where you build the foundations up very quickly around different, around knowledge bases that you can use. So yes, some other, as we saw now, what you can do is as well, explain it in home language. A lot of times you perhaps create content for your class, include some of the home languages that the students speak. You promote AI to take on a certain role. So if, for instance, in this case, we ask it to take on the role of the teacher, and that can even be you if you want it to, how can I say, be your style of providing content. And yeah, the benefits of asking it in different learning levels. It's a very powerful tool to use. It can really help your understanding, but also the understanding of your classroom as well. And yeah, so, always play around with what is available, refine your prompting techniques, see how, I'm going to say, you can build up this skill. Let's excuse me for 1 second. So as we mentioned as well, save your results. You never know when you're going to need, that specific prompt that you want to use. A good example that I actually saw was, especially if you don't have access to paid versions. You know, for instance, in the paid versions, you can create almost like a project plan where you actually give it a lot of information already. But what you can do is, for instance, that initial prompt I use with that gives it the context, you can actually save it in a Word document. And then you add that every time you prompt it. For instance, for a lesson plan, maybe there's a lesson plan structure that you need to use. And that content, that document you always upload. So it already has that, so you don't need to retype it. Then you just ask it for, do a certain topic, follow the structure. All of that you can add as that additional context. And then obviously voice prompts. I can see if it will work right now. I know with me having Teams open at the same time. But let's quickly see if we can showcase this. So I'm going to just, how can I say, share sound. So I can actually now go here. So it wants to use my microphone. So now I can ask it a question very quickly. So I'm going to say, please explain the molecule structure to me like I'm a teenager.
All right, let's break it down.
Please break down molecule structure for me like on a teenage level. Yeah, unfortunately, the mic here is clashing with my microphone that I'm using currently to speak to you. So it can't really listen to me. But what's nice about this interactive prompts, it's very quickly. It gives you feedback also very quickly, almost instantaneous. So a lot of times, if you don't want to go and, how can I say, type out everything constantly, you just want a quick back and forth conversation, really go and explore the capabilities of what can be done. And you can see, you will actually be quite surprised to see how quickly you can actually build up content by just talking to it very quickly back and forth. And what's nice about the new ones, you can even interrupt it. So if it goes, a little bit off track, you just say stop, no, rephrase. You can, all those commands works very well with language. So yes, in the course, as you're going to work through the content, I'm just quickly going to show you on the page as well. Please complete these activities. They are ready there to help solidify everything that you've learned so that you can actually practice what you've done and then also, how can I say, really build up that skill as you go along. Now, on this, we also have additional AI resources. So remember, prompting is basically what gives these other tools its power. Like, for instance, Magic School. Magic School is a good example of, where it's already set up to create lesson plans, all those type of things. But just remember, basically what this does is just adds the prompt to the model already for you. So you don't have to pay that much, how can I say, for subscriptions and all of that if you know good prompting, because then you can just use the base AI models and you'll get even perhaps better results out than when you use these online tools. But we have created a list for you as well that you can go and explore if you want to see what is the capabilities of using AI models. So yes, prompting is the most powerful tool you can learn for AI. And you'll probably notice now a lot of workplaces, all of them actually ask, what is your experience and your skills with AI? Especially how you can use it within your trade. That's now, for instance, education. Because as the popular topic always goes, AI is not going to take your job one day. It's the person that knows how to use it, and specifically the person that can use it within their field. So, for instance, you as a teacher, how are you going to use this to really benefit you and your students? And as mentioned, it is a skill that you need to practice. So please practice it as often as you can, but also, try not to get over reliant on it. You still want to explore, have your capabilities. For instance, a good example would be a lot of coders now use AI as a coding assistant. And a couple of weeks ago, OpenAI actually went down for a couple of hours. And basically, yeah, the whole software trade came to a little pause for a while because everybody realized how reliant they are now on AI to help them do their work. Now, I'm just going to give you an overview of Unit 4 as we have run out of time. But now that you know prompting, the basics, that's what how can I say, the general skill you're going to work on. Now, when we get to Unit 4, this is now actually where you now start using it within your field. How do you actually create, use it for lesson plans? How can you use it for engagement activities? How can you even do your assessments very quickly with it? So if I look at Unit 4, so for instance, in Unit 4, we start off actually with the example that we gave already. But remember, you can always change this example to yourself as well. And then we start looking at what are the tools, how can you actually use it. For example, we ask it here, we want to create a lesson plan on this topic. This is how you prompt it. This is the results that you get. You can actually then also output it, for instance, in different languages, so you can actually use this within your classroom as well, and how you can actually do an interactive Q&A session, and it will actually help you set up all of these lesson plans for you that you can use in your classroom. So we delve over here, for instance, the lesson outline, differentiation, for different viewpoints. How do you localize the content to your specific area with examples? Because that is where I think where the most power of this comes in. Now we can localize content very easily, very quickly, with local examples around us as well. But also, obviously, AI-based assessment strategies. There's quite an interesting one where you can actually have students, for instance, interact with AI, obviously under a guided way, but they actually do group work where a group member is the AI. So students can actually discuss around a topic with, how can I say, with the AI giving inputs as well, and then see how their opinions differentiate or differs perhaps in from the AI in the point of view. Our local point of view might not always be reflected in these large AI models. So we have a few, can I say, activities here as well. So please complete them. It's all part of how you actually learn to use these tools. And we also, if you've got a different way of how you use it in the classroom, please share it as well in the chats, so we can in the future perhaps include it as well in future lessons, so we can really give you a good foundation when you start using these AI tools. Now, as David mentioned, the AI tools that we use is freely accessible. So the one is Copilot, but you can also use, for instance, Google Gemini. That's also available freely. Now, as Vivian and they mentioned, most schools actually have Microsoft licenses that must just be activated. So you can actually get access to the corporate version of Copilot as well. I'll quickly show you what it looks like. It differs from the, how can I say, the open free one. So Copilot was basically built into Microsoft 365. What's nice about it is You also have the capabilities of uploading files. You can obviously upload a lot more files and bigger files than the free version. What's also nice about this, all your information is protected, so they don't use it for future training. So remember, when you use the free tools, they actually do use your data for future training. But if you get the corporate accounts, that's when you know everything is private and secure. So definitely motivate your school principal to get those licenses to activate it for you, because you already have it. It just needs to be activated through the Department of Basic Education. And in future sessions, we will definitely, once you activate it, dive into more specific how you can use all of these tools in your classroom, but also for yourself to really, how can I say, become a productive a genius, basically, in using these things the modern way. And all of that will then be obviously go back to your students as well as skills that they need for the workplace one day. So with that, I'm going to hand over back to David. Thank you guys for joining. This was a short session. We are going to go in the future have longer sessions where we dive into each unit, take you through step by step. But please, in the meantime, when you have time, go work through the course. It is open, it is available, and yeah, we hope you enjoy it and will learn a lot of skills from the course. But as I said, we will in the future have dedicated sessions as well, so we can really make sure you gain these skills and that you can use it optimally in your classrooms. Thanks, David.
All right, thanks, Richard, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So if you did, please just do a thumbs up or the clapping hands emoji or the heart emoji. We appreciate it. Thanks, Richard. That was really well covered. I know we only had an hour for something that's generally 8 hours.